All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking the totally wild, chaotic plot of Skate or Die Jacob Jones. If you're familiar with this story, you know it's an absolute thrill ride from start to finish. But today, we're going to look past the gravity-defying skateboard tricks and the explosions. We are zeroing in on the world building, and specifically, the real-life inspirations behind the unsung heroes, the guys who actually step up and save the day.
Okay, so let's dive into this bizarre premise. We've got a skateboarding math prodigy named Jacob, a pygmy chimpanzee named Stella, and what looks like a full-blown zombie apocalypse. It's a completely chaotic situation that totally swallows the town of Sierra Vista. And, it asks a really funny question. When the world goes completely mad, who actually steps up to hold the whole thing together?
Section 1. A skater, an ape, and zombies. The wild premise of Sierra Vista.
So to really appreciate the unsung heroes of this story, because let's be honest, without them, it's just a skater and an ape running from a mob. We first need to understand exactly what kind of disaster we're dealing with here. Day 1, we have a massive, high-stakes disaster starting with a mislabeled barrel of toxic nerve agent at the Fort Huachuca military base. Then, Day 2, a group of misguided activists, they call themselves Vegans for Animal Rights First, or VARF, they break in and release Stella the chimp. Well, Stella accidentally runs right through a puddle of this leaked nerve agent, escapes into the town, and unknowingly exposes everyone at a local farmer's market. The result? It's crazy. The townspeople turn pale, they lose the ability to speak, they just wander around muttering ba-ba-ba, and basically turn into a zombie mob. But here's the twist. They don't want brains. They instinctively crave bananas. It's an incredibly fast-paced setup that forces an unlikely trio of everyday heroes to fix everything.
Section 2. Dennis the Animal Lover. Orchestrating the pudding.
So when chaos inevitably breaks out, it's the folks on the ground who have to clean up the mess, right? Enter Dennis, a medical technician with a massive heart for animals. Dennis actually kicks off the town's frantic search when he discovers the chimp is missing, just absolutely bellowing Stella across the warehouse. But what makes Dennis a true hero is how he steps up at the absolute climax of the story. When Jacob and Stella are completely overwhelmed by this supposed zombie horde, it's Dennis and his team who orchestrate the massive and frankly incredibly messy citywide cure. They realize they literally don't have enough bananas for the whole town, so Dennis coordinates a mass treatment plan using fire hoses to just blast the infected with banana pudding. It's totally absurd, but hey, it saves the town.
Now, here is where it gets really fun. There's this hilarious contrast between Dennis's absurd fictional heroics and his actual grounded real-world inspiration. If you check out the author's afterword, you'll see Dennis isn't just some random name pulled out of thin air. He's actually based on the author's real-life longtime friend from church, going all the way back to high school. The author is literally honoring a decades-long friendship by giving his buddy the crucial hands-on role of raining banana pudding down on a zombie horde. You just can't make that up.
Section 3. Ricky Max, Cookies and Courage, the hotel manager holding the fort.
Okay, so while the military is trying to figure things out, Jacob is out there on the front lines, and he is desperate for supplies. Enter Ricky Max. Picture this scene, all right? Zombies are literally thumping against the hotel windows, groaning that ba-ba-ba sound. Ricky Max has barricaded the front doors with lobby furniture, and he's just nervously stress-eating the hotel's complimentary cookies. Yet, when Jacob calls down to the lobby demanding every single banana he has, Ricky Max deadpan corrects his math. Jacob asks for a gross, and Ricky tells him, no, a gross is exactly 144 bananas. Then he bags them all up and bravely moves his barricade just enough to supply Jacob with his crucial banana arsenal. He is absolutely terrified, but he holds the fort, corrects some math, and arms our hero. And again, we look to the afterword to find the real heart here. The author deliberately places his real-life friend, Ricky Max, into this totally bizarre high-pressure hotel manager role. In reality, the real Ricky Max is a restaurateur and antique furniture owner. He's definitely not a hotel manager fighting off the undead. By casting his buddy in this wildly out-of-place scenario, the author injects this perfect deadpan humor that makes his fast-paced story feel uniquely personal, It's deeply charming.
Section 4. Dr. Gilbert, the potassium cure, solving the medical mystery.
Action is great, but without a diagnosis, the town is pretty much doomed. This brings us to Dr. Gilbert's brilliant logical leap, framing this entire terrifying zombie invasion as a curable medical mystery. So Jacob calls 911 in an absolute panic because throwing a banana at someone somehow cured them. That tiny detail makes its way to Dr. Gilbert, and he just maps it out perfectly. Step 1, the zombies instinctively want bananas. Step 2, bananas equal super high amounts of potassium.
Step 3, potassium is biologically necessary for muscle movement. So conclusion, they aren't the undead at all. They are victims of a nerve agent that strips their motor functions, leaving them craving the exact mineral they need to recover. It's a brilliant deduction that flips the whole thing from a horror story into a rescue mission.
And once again, the author elevates a high school buddy into a fictional hero. Dr. Gilbert is actually based on the author's real-life friend, Sean. Now, Sean is not a medical doctor. Actually, scratch that. He's not in medicine at all. He's a fellow author. But in the world of Skate or Die, he is given the pivotal role of connecting the skater, the ape, and the cure. He is absolutely the brains behind the brawn.
Section 5. Real friends, fictional heroes. The richness of the afterword.
So, what does this all mean? The crucial point of this explainer is how the supporting cast is the true secret ingredient to this chaotic story. Sure, the high-flying skateboarding tricks and the lovable ape get all the spotlight, but the entire narrative hinges on Dennis, Ricky, Max, and Dr. Gilbert. It just comes together so perfectly. The author didn't just invent these quirky characters to push the plot forward. He used the afterword to explicitly show us that his real-life friends are the unsung heroes orchestrating the cure. Dennis, Ricky, and Dr. Gilbert anchor the complete absurdity of a banana pudding fire hose cure by building it on a foundation of real friendship. It injects this grounded personal richness to the fiction. It turns what could have been just a silly action comedy into a genuinely heartwarming tribute to the people the author cares about.
As we wrap up this explainer, it leaves us with such a fascinating look at world building and character inspiration. The author literally entrusted the survival of his fictional town to the buddies he grew up with. It's a brilliant literary trick that elevates the whole shebang. So it leaves us with one final, pretty fun thought to chew on. If you were writing the story and the chips were totally down, who in your real life would you cast to save the world when things go absolutely bananas?